Hello everybody, and welcome. I am the Shy Hat, and this is HackerFrogs. Alright, so everybody, today what we're going to be doing is two topics. So the first topic of the day is going to be HackerFrogs After School Python Programming Basics Part 8. And the second part of the stream is going to be OSINT Party. So it's going to be Cyber OSINT Party. That's going to be our segment where it's a little bit more casual, and what we're going to do is we're going to learn about cybersecurity companies through OSINT, which is Open Source Intelligence. Today's OSINT targets are going to be Kaspersky, because Kaspersky has been showing up in the news. Tofen is now a HackerFrog. Welcome. And our second target is going to be another antivirus company, which is McAfee. McAfee, which was made famous by its founder, John McAfee, and became infamous. Well, John McAfee became infamous. McAfee antivirus also became kind of infamous. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. So that's going to be the second topic of the day. But the first topic of the day is going to be HackerFrogs After School Python Programming Basics. So let's start. All right, so what we're doing today is this workshop, which is the 8th and final class for Intro Python Programming. All right, so it's been quite a while, and it's been about a month and a week. We did this course in an accelerated manner in order to get through all the course material in a timely manner. And it's been quite a ride. So during our last workshop, we learned about a few programming concepts through Python, including the following. So we talked about dictionaries last week. Dictionaries in Python are similar to other container objects such as lists, except that data stored in dictionaries are pairs of keys and values as opposed to individual items. So that was dictionaries. Dictionaries are useful for recording different key value pairs that all pertain to one subject or one common value across a number of subjects. This is the way in which Python dictionaries are used. So with that being done, we're going to move on into today's topic. Today's topic is going to be modules and packages. So if you do any amount of programming in Python, you're going to be making use of modules and packages. Modules and packages are basically a way for you to use code that's already been written, and that means you don't have to write the code yourself. It is very convenient and very useful. So what is a module? A module is a piece of software which serves a specific purpose. Modules typically contain a number of functions, classes, variables, and/or methods, which can be imported into a Python namespace to make use of extended functionality. So we're talking about namespaces today. What is a namespace? A namespace is a collection of defined symbolic names and their corresponding values. Every Python program exists within a namespace, and importing modules into a namespace adds objects from the module into the current namespace. So namespace management is very important in Python, especially when you're dealing with larger code bases. So how can modules enhance our Python programs? So this is a very important thing that we need to learn. As an example, the Python random module contains a few different methods for generating random numbers or rearranging pre-existing data into random configurations. So anytime you want to create a random number in Python, you probably want to use the random module. So how do we do this? Let's learn. So in order to use module functionality, the module must be imported into the namespace. So this keyword right here, import, it basically means that the code is going to use another file. Another file in this case meaning the module that we want to use. This can be done in one of two ways, either by importing the whole module into the namespace, as shown above. So this import keyword over here, when used with the name of a module, and what a module is essentially just another Python file. If you just use the Python import keyword, then it's going to import everything from that module into your namespace. Or we can specify which methods or functions to import from a specific module, like the example shown here. So here, we're going to import something from random. From random, we're going to import a specific function here. So the specific function in this case being the shuffle function. And in this case, the shuffle function requires us to have a list. So we've got a numbered list over here, and then we use the shuffle function on it. And then after we print out the numbered list, we see that the order of the numbers have all been shifted around. So note that when we import specific functions from a module, we can access those functions without specifying the module name, like we did in the first example, random shuffle. So everybody, let's get hands-on while we're talking about modules, okay? So I'm going to include a link for this specific virtual machine over here, which is located at bellard.org. This is going to be a Linux virtual machine that we're going to be working with while we go through today's lesson. Okay, so we've got our Python namespace over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Nano, the text editor Nano, in order to make some Python files. So we haven't really talked too much about creating Python files on a file system. But that's what we're going to be doing today because it's the best way to learn about modules. All right, so if we wanted to create a file called test.py, so all Python files have to end in the .py file extension. So we'd do nano test.py, just like this, and then that's going to bring us into our text editor. So everybody who's new, who just came in, we're going to be working with this virtual machine over here that I linked in chat, and that's how we're going to be testing our Python code today. So we've got test.py, and what we can do is we can do exactly what we saw in the slideshow over here. We can import the random module. So you just need to use this right here. So let's try writing this code right here. We're going to import random, and then we're going to create our number list. So up here, we're going to import random, and then we're going to make our number list num list equals, and that's going to be a list. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it could be a number list of any length really. And then from there, we can use any of the functions from the random module by referencing the random module random.shuffle, and then because this is a function, we have to use our parentheses. So inside the parentheses, we're going to specify which object we're going to shuffle, and we're going to shuffle random list right here. Okay? So after that, we can print random list. We can print num list rather, and we should see that the number list has been randomized. Okay, so num list. All right, so after we've written this code over here, we need to save it out. We can do that by doing Control-X, and then it'll ask us if we want to save the modified buffer. We type Y for yes, and then we'll save it as test.py. Press enter. Okay, so we see here that we have here our test.py file, and we can run it by just using the Python command, python test.py. Okay, and we see that the numbers from 1 to 7 have been randomized. So if we were to run this again, it's going to give us a different randomization each time, because the numbers are being shuffled into a different order each time. Okay, so with that, we have successfully imported our first module and used a function in it. So let's go back. So let's go back into and test and do nano on test.py. So we see here that we've used the first version of importing modules, which imports the entire module into the namespace. So this is okay. It's not. There are less optimal ways to import modules, but importing the whole module is fine. Except that some people find it kind of annoying that you have to reference the name of the module before you use anything from the module. In this case, you have to specify random.shuffle in order to use the shuffle function from this. Okay, but there's another way we can do this instead. So let's go over to the presentation. And we see that the other method of importing something from the random module in this case would be to use the from keyword. So when we use the from keyword, you specify from which module you want to import something. So from random import shuffle, and this is going to only import the shuffle function from the random module. And in this case, you can just use shuffle directly instead of referencing the random module. So let's try that. So go back to your JS Linux over here. And everybody, if you have any questions about any of the material that we're going over, please type in the chat and ask, and I'll try to answer your questions as best I can and as soon as I can. Okay, so we've got our test.py file. Apis Karnica, yo, hope you're doing well. Well, I hope you're doing well as well. And thank you for stopping by. I very much appreciate that. So import random. So instead of importing random, we can do from random. We can import the specific. So Apis Karnica, if you want to stop by for the OSINT party that we're doing later, we're probably going to be doing that at the top of the next hour. So right now it is 4:12 p.m. and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting our OSINT party at 5:12 p.m. So not 5:12 p.m. but at 5 o'clock. So in roughly 48 minutes. But yeah, I hope to see you then. All right, so from random, we have to import shuffle. So import shuffle, and this is going to import only this specific function. And in this case, when we want to shuffle our number list, we don't do random.shuffle. We imported the function only, which means we can just import shuffle. We can just use shuffle without specifying random. Okay, so that was a bit long-winded, sorry. So okay, so we're going to save this out. So save it and save it as that, clear it out, and then we're going to Python it again. So Python test.py. Okay, and we see that we've once again used the random shuffle function, but in this case we only imported shuffle and not any of the other functions. Okay, awesome. Next. Note that when we import specific functions from a module, we can access those functions without specifying the module name, like we did in the first example. So another thing we can do when we import objects from the modules is we can give it a custom name. So we're talking about custom name module import. In this case, we're going to import random as RNG functions. So essentially what we're doing is we're renaming the module as we import it. So when importing modules into Python code, we can set up a custom name for the module within the code, either to shorten the module name, change it so that it doesn't overlap with another module in our namespace, or any other reason. So we can give the module a new name, or we can import a specific function from the module and also give it a new name. So let's demonstrate this inside of our code over here. So let's go back in nano test.py. Okay, so in this case, let's try importing just this function right here. So from random import shuffle, but we're going to give it a new name as mixup. So we're going to rename the shuffle function as mixup, and then we're going to use this one. So in this case, we wouldn't be using the shuffle function because we renamed it mixup. We're going to use the mixup function. Okay, so it might seem a little bit redundant right now, but this allows you to rename any functions you want to import in order so that it doesn't conflict with any other functions. The names of any other functions or variables that you've already have in your code. So let's save this up, and then we're going to test it. Okay, so we successfully used the shuffle function, but we renamed it as we imported it. So let's try this again, but we're going to import random as RNG lib. So RNG, as people might know, stands for random number generator, and that kind of fits what we're doing. So in this case, what we would do when we wanted to use the shuffle is reference RNG lib dot shuffle. Shuffle. Okay, so in this case, we've renamed the random module to RNG lib over here, and we're also going to invoke one of the functions from it. Okay, so we save this out, and then we run it. Okay, so we see that we've successfully imported this all, and we're successfully using the shuffle function. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of more concepts as far as module import is concerned. So we're talking about creating a module. So writing a module requires the creation of a .py file with the same name as the name of the module we want to write. Here we've created a file named greetings.py with the code shown above. So what we're going to do is we're going to create our own module now, and it's going to be called greetings.py, and it's going to contain this function right here, which is called default greeting, and all it does is print out this message right here: hello friend, how are you? All right, so let's do that inside of our virtual machine. So nano greetings.py, and inside of greetings.py, all we need to do is create the function. So def default greeting, and this is we're writing a function right now, and because we're defining the function right here, we have to include a colon. So after the colon, anything that comes after the colon is a code block in Python, and that means that you have to indent any of the code. So in this case, we're going to indent by 2 spaces. I like to use 2 spaces, and although the official documentation says that you're supposed to indent by 4 spaces, this is just easier to read for me. So inside of the function, we're going to print hello friend, how are you? Okay, so this is all the function does. It prints out hello friend, how are you? And the name of the function is default greeting. So we're going to save this out. So Control X to save, to exit rather, save modify buffer yes, and then press enter. And we see here that we have our greetings.py file. And if we were to run this Python file, greetings.py, we see that nothing happens. So here's a quick question. Why does nothing happen when we run the Python file? We run Python greetings.py, but nothing appeared. Does anybody know? So the reason nothing appears is because we've only defined the function right here. We haven't actually called it. So if we were to call this function, then it would print this message. But this is only the definition of the function, so it doesn't appear. Okay, so we've done the first step over here. We've created our greetings.py file. So provided we run a Python interactive console from the same directory containing the greetings.py file, we can import the file as a module and use the function defined inside that file, just like any other module. So here's another new thing that you might be encountering today. What we're going to be doing is we're going to use the Python interactive console. So how do you activate Python interactive console? Let me demonstrate. So inside of our virtual machine here, we can just type in Python. We type in Python by itself. And if we give the Python command by itself without any other arguments, it's going to bring us into the interactive console here. And any commands we type inside of the interactive console are going to be executed. Okay, so for example, we could just print hello world. And then after we press enter, it's going to execute that command. All right, so the interactive console is very useful when you're testing out code, because you can execute the commands immediately without any delays. We don't have to save out files. You can just run it as you will. Okay, so in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to import inside of the interactive console, and we're going to import our greetings.py file. So in this case, import greetings.py. Whoops, it's just greetings. So import greetings. You don't have to use the .py, so import it, press enter, and that means that everything that's inside of the greetings file has been imported into our namespace. So in this case, we would do greetings. If we want to run the function inside of the greetings file, the greetings module, we would do greetings dot default greeting, and then so we have to reference the name of the module, then the function from the module, and then when we run this, it's going to run that function. It's going to call that function default greeting, and it runs the function, and then we see the message over here. Hello friend, how are you? That's because we just ran the function. Okay, so so after you've activated the interactive Python console, if you want to exit out of it, you have to use a function called exit. So you have to give the exit function with the parentheses over here, and after you do that, it's going to exit out of the Python interactive console. Okay? All right, back to the presentation. So another important thing we have to realize about Benita Bahoya asks, this is case sensitive. Is the exit function case sensitive? In most cases in Python, it is case sensitive. So most of the time you want to just use lowercase for everything. There's specific cases where you have to use uppercase in Python, but most of the time you can just use lowercase. All right, so we're talking now about module initialization. When a module is imported, all objects within the module are initialized once. But if the same objects are imported a second time for whatever reason, they will not be initialized again. So basically what we have to understand here is that whenever you import objects from a module, you import the module, all of the objects inside of the module are going to be initialized into your code. So an interesting side effect of this is that all of the code inside of the module is run once, and if you're not careful, you can have really bad things happen inside of your code. So I'm gonna demonstrate. So let's suppose we've got a module called we download like a really a really cool hacker tool called like pwntool.py. Okay, and the contents of the file are this. So let me take a look at the code. So first off, it's going to import OS. So it's going to give itself the ability to use Linux OS functions. And then we're going to define a file path. So the file path is going to be root/note.txt. So in this case, what we're creating here is a file path for this file to use, which is root.note.txt. So this is going to become why we're using this file right here. It's going to become apparent in a little bit, but bear with me right now. So I want to put something inside of note.txt. So I'm going to create this content variable, and the content variable is going to read, if I can write a note in root, I can probably do anything I want on this system. Okay, so this is the message we're going to put inside of note.txt. And then we're going to create a function over here. We're going to try to do something. So with open, and we're going to specify the file path. And we're going to write something with this command as file. So this is going to be, so whenever we reference file, it's going to be referencing opening up this and writing something in the file path. Okay. File.write content. So what this is going to do, it's going to write out into the file this content variable, which is this string right here. Okay. And then we're going to print file created at file path. And this is going to need to be in f string. Okay. And let's see. We also need to give an exception. Permission denied. You need to run this script with root privileges. Okay, and I see I need to put some, we need to wrap that up. Okay, so I think this is all we need to do. So this script right here, what does it do? It creates a file at the file path, which is root.note.txt, and it has this content right here. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to illustrate the dangers of using insecure, using modules that we don't trust. So if somebody were to trick you into using a module that isn't verified, and basically every piece of code you run on your computer, you're going to need to verify all the code inside of it, something really bad could happen. So in this case, here's a script over here. It's called pwntool.py. You know, it might be advertised as a cool hacker tool, and if you run it without going over what's inside the code, then something really bad could happen. Expect, no, it's supposed to be accept. Okay, so I think this is correct. Okay, so we're going to save this out, and we're going to run pwntool.py. Okay, we've got invalid syntax. Oh, I've forgotten to wrap that up, so I need to wrap this up. So this one over here, the file path, we need to wrap this up in quotes because otherwise it's not going to accept this. Okay, let's save that out again. So let's run this file. So it says file created successfully at root note.txt. So we're going to cat out the note. And it says, if I can write a note in root, I can probably do anything I want in the system. Okay, so this is an example of something that could be malicious code. And so I'm going to paste this this code into chat, just so you can. I think I can. Okay, so I highlight this, I copy it, and I can paste this in chat. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to try going to ChatGPT and on ChatGPT we don't need to, we can stay logged out, and we could potentially ask ChatGPT about any code that we come across, really. So inspect this code. Is there anything potentially unsafe? And then we just paste in the code. Okay, and ChatGPT over here has identified some security problems with this code. So number one is writing to root. So the code attempts to write a file directly to root, which is typically the root user's home directory. Okay, so here it says potential for arbitrary code execution. So it says this is a security risk, and it talks about the content of the root of writing things to root, which is usually something that it's not really something that that usually does. Okay, so what I'm really trying to say is that you shouldn't be running anything on your system unless you inspect it first. So you have to take a look at it and make sure there's nothing funny going on. And there's nothing wrong with pasting some code that you don't recognize into something like ChatGPT and asking if there's anything wrong with it, because ChatGPT is actually really good at explaining how code works. So I've learned a lot of different coding concepts by asking ChatGPT, because, well, you know, sometimes you feel a bit embarrassed to ask, you know, what you think might be a dumb question about programming. So the great thing about ChatGPT, well, the other thing that we have to remember about ChatGPT is that it sometimes gets stuff wrong. But that said, you can learn a lot by asking ChatGPT questions about programming, and especially programming in languages that are very well established, such as Python. It usually has the right answers for those. Okay. So this is module initialization. So because all the code is run once when it's imported, if you import a module that is not trusted, it could potentially be doing bad things to your system. So that's why we don't import modules that are not trusted. Most of the modules that you import are going to be well-known modules, and those are perfectly safe. But if you ever come across any modules that just come from random people or random repositories, you have to be careful about those. All right, so let's practice importing modules with Python at the following URL. Okay, so over here we've got JS Linux. We were just talking about that. We're just here. Okay, so everybody, let's try playing around a little bit more with our greetings.py file over here. So remember that greetings.py is just this function right here. So it prints hello friend, how are you? So we're going to go into our Python interactive console by just typing Python, and then we're going to do another method of importing the function from that module. So we do from greetings, we're going to import default greetings. Okay, so from greetings, we're going to import default greetings, and then press enter. Can I import name default greetings from greetings? I wonder what went wrong here. So from greetings, import. Oh, it's not default greetings, it's default greeting. Okay, there's no S at the end. Okay, so we do that, and now it's perfectly fine. And then we can use default greeting. So to run default greeting, all we need to do is type it out and include some parentheses, and then it's going to run, because we've imported this function right here into our Python file, into our Python namespace rather, and then we run the function, and then the function runs. Perfect. All right, so the last thing we're going to do for today's exercise is we're going to run we're going to write another file, and this file is going to import the request module. So the request module is a very common. Let me demonstrate. Hold on. Let's exit. So to exit, you have to give the exit function over here. And let me explain what the exercise is here. So we're going to write a program which features many of the concepts we learned in this workshop. So the program should import the request module in Python, then retrieve the contents of this URL right here. So the URL is going to be https google.com/robots.txt. So if anybody knows, robots.txt is a list of directories that search engines aren't allowed to look in, because they don't want search engines to record the contents of those parts of their website. So that's what the robots.txt file is. What we want to do is we want to create a program in Python which retrieves the contents of this file and then save the contents of this file right here to a file on our system. Okay? So let's do that. So we're going to go back to our virtual machine here, and then let's create the file. Python. Whoops. No, it's going to be nano. So we're using the nano text editor. It's going to be nano robot getter robotgetter.py. Okay, and what we're going to be doing, the first thing we're going to need to do inside of this script over here is we're going to import the request module. And what the request module does is that it allows us to do web requests, and we're going to use web requests to get web content from the internet. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to create some variables. So now that we've got the request module imported, before we start using it, we want to start creating some variables. So for the example, we've got the URL that we want to access, and the URL we want to access is this one. And I'll include this in the chat. So I encourage everybody, whoops, this is not what I was looking for. Hold on. Okay, so that's the URL that we're looking for over here. And we're going to save this as a variable so that we don't have to, so the code is going to look less cluttered when we actually use this variable. Okay, so we're going to use a try loop over here. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to send a GET request to the URL with this variable right here. So response is going to be requests.get, and in this case the URL is going to be this URL right here. So this variable is equal to using requests.get, which is a method inside of the request library, and it references this URL right here. This is the URL that we're going to try to get. Okay, and then we're going to check if the request was successful. So if response.statusQuote, okay, and what this is a variable which is associated with this variable here, response, and it tells you which HTTP code you got after you sent the GET request. And what we're checking for is that the request was successful. So we have to compare it against a number, and the 200 HTTP request code is the OK code. All right. So if we get the successful response, then we're going to save this out to a file, and we save it out to a file with the following code right here, with open, and we're going to call this Google robots.txt. And we're going to write that file, so we need to specify W. And we're going to call this the file. We're going to write the file. We're going to write the file as whatever we get as the response and the text we get from the response. And remember, the response is this URL right here. And then we're going to save the file, and we're going to give a little message. But if that doesn't happen, we're going to print the error message. Okay, and then we're going to include an exception. Okay, so what this program here is going to do is it's going to it's going to try to download the file at google.com/robots.txt, and if it successfully accesses it, it's going to save this file right here under this file name, and it's going to say saved. But if it fails, it's going to say failed to retrieve the file, and it's going to give you the status code. But if some other error occurs, it's just going to say an error occurred. Okay, so let's save out this file. And so I'm going to test to make sure this works. I'm not sure if I coded that correctly, but I'm going to try to run this. Oh, one thing I haven't really considered is that this virtual machine might not have a very good internet connection, but let's try this out and see if it works first. So it seems to be running. This seems to be running, but it could be that the internet connection is very slow, and that's why the script isn't returning to us very quickly. But while this runs, I'd like to talk about what to do if you wanted to get more Python education beyond what this course teaches. This is the last session in this course, so we're going to be talking about some other Python learning resources. So of course we have our HackerFrogs Reddit page, which you can see over here. And we have a number of different threads here talking about different places you can get education resources. And on this thread right here, you can take a look at all of the free Python resources that I gathered from a few different sources. So let me check in on this. Okay, so it said an error occurred, name response is not defined. Name response is not defined. Huh, okay. I wonder what wait, which line is that? Name response is not defined. Okay. So so another thing that you can use ChatGPT for is if something goes wrong with your code, you could try asking ChatGPT what is wrong with the code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this code, and then I'm going to paste it into ChatGPT, and I'm going to ask it, I got the message. What was that message? Response is not defined. It's an error message. So what could be the issue? And then I paste in my code and I ask ChatGPT. Okay, so you assigned the result of request.getURL to respond. So okay. So ChatGPT identified that I made a spelling mistake inside of my code. All right, so request.getURL to response, not okay. So I misspelled this. Oh, I misspelled it right over here. Wow, that was dumb. Okay, let me edit that. Okay, so ChatGPT is very good for typo, error, or response. Park. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Yeah. So response, it's not response, it's response. Oh geez. Okay, so this is the great joys of doing programming. Okay, so let's save that out and then let's run it again. So of course this is going to take a little while to run. Meanwhile, I was talking about Python language resources. So I pasted the thread for everybody over to take a look at. So this is not the end of your Python education. There's a lot to learn about Python, and I highly recommend these two courses right here, Python Essentials 1 and Python Essentials 2 from Skills for All. So what's great about this course is that this course is sponsored by Cisco, and Cisco is a really big IT and networking company, like one of the biggest. So if they're sponsoring this course over here, you know it's really good. And I've run through the majority of these two courses over here just to take a look at what they teach. And honestly, I can stand to learn a few things about programming in Python myself. I'm not an expert in Python and programming. In Python programming, we just saw over here in ChatGPT, it told me that I was making spelling mistakes. So knowing how to correct your code is another great thing about programming. So that's another thing you need to know when you're doing programming. So let me copy this code. So I'll copy this code and I'll provide it to everybody in chat in case you wanted to give this a go yourself. I don't know if the indentation is going to be correct if you were to paste it into your own browser or your own text editor, but that's the raw code. So another great resource is Python Principles right here. So Python Principles, it also has some Python learning, but it also has a number of different challenges. So let me demonstrate. So over at the Python Principles website, you have this section over here. You have lessons, and they have a number of free lessons over here, but most of their lessons over here are behind a paywall, which isn't great because we're looking for free resources. But they have this great section right here called challenges, and these challenges range from easy to difficult over here. But what you can do is you can challenge your Python programming abilities by trying to solve any of these challenges over here. For example, here's this challenge over here called capital indexes. And what they want you to do is they want you to write a function called capital indexes that takes a single parameter, which is a string, and the function should return a list of all the indexes in the string that have capital letters. So for example, if you were to run this function over here with this string hello, you see the H is capitalized, the L is capitalized, and the O is capitalized. It should return this list right here where it says that the 0 index, and the first letter is the 0 index, and then index 2, which is the third letter, and index 4, which is the fifth letter over here. These are the capital letters. So how would you write that inside of this code? So this is a great website for trying to challenge your Python programming abilities over here. They're not, the first few challenges are not too challenging, but it's great that they have stuff like this. And what else? So we also have a number of different websites over here, like realpython.com. There is paid resources over here. Benita Bahoya asks, once I'm done writing the code, do I save it and then execute? Are you referring to these challenges right here? So if you're talking about these challenges, well, I'll link the link for the first challenge right here, just in case anybody was curious. But what you do is, for the challenges over here, what we would do is write the code for the challenges inside of this this code window right here, and then you would click on this button right here, Run Code, and then it'll tell you whether or not the challenge is completed. It'll run a number of tests. But what was I talking about? I was talking about realpython.com. So this is another great resource for learning about Python. So there's a number of different quizzes and tutorials right here. So it's a great resource. Oh, the exercise we just did, the robot file. Okay, so the robot file, what you would do is you would paste that into your text editor, right? So inside of your JS Linux, oh no, we got a different error. An error occurred. Max retries exceeded with. Okay, so I think we're not going to be able to run this script with this virtual machine over here, because but you might be able to run this on your own system over here if you have Python installed. So where would you have Python installed? So I think Python, you can install Python quite easily on Windows. So just type Python into your search inside of Windows, and then click on Get, and you should be able to install it into your Windows. So what it's going to do, it's going to install Python 3.1.2, which is I think that is the most current version. And then you'll be able to write Python files on your Windows machine. Okay, so let's see. So let's say launch. So excuse me if okay, so what it does is it launches the interactive Python window instead of Windows. So just like the other one, we can just print out something like hello world, and it'll print that out. Okay. So if we want to run Python files from our Windows machine over here, we would need to use some sort of IDE. We could also just use our Notepad to write out Python files. For example, if we're on our Windows, we could go to our documents, and inside of documents, let's make a little folder called Python stuff. And we're going to create a file. It's going to be a new text document. And we're going to name the document robot getter.py. And then click into it. And then paste in your code. So let me grab the code. Oh, this is not formatted. That's no good. But right. So if you want to play around with that, I suggest you can do some research on your own. But we need to finish up our class. Let's go over to the presentation over here. So let's talk about some of the programming concepts we learned in today's workshop. We talked about modules and packages. So modules and packages are pre-written code that can be imported into Python files to add functionality. So all you need to really know about Python modules is that Python modules are just other Python files. So what you're doing is you're importing the code inside of other Python files into your Python file, and that increases the flexibility and the flexibility of your own code, because you're able to use code that other people have written. And the other thing you really need to know about Python modules is that Python modules, you need to trust the code that is going on inside of Python modules. Most of the time, Python modules that people talk about are very well-known modules. So you don't need to worry about most Python modules unless you see that the Python modules are coming from an untrusted source. And in that case, you have to take a look at the contents in the modules. You could even just copy the code from the modules and then feed them over to ChatGPT and ask it if it sees anything unsafe. Of course, that's not there's not a surefire way to to identify potentially risky modules, but it's one thing you could do. So what's next? So unfortunately, this is the end of the HackerFrogs After School Intro to Python programming classes, but now that we know the basics, we can start learning about about coding in this extremely popular programming language. So to everybody who wants to do a little bit more practice with Python, I'm going to be running one more session on Wednesday. So it's going to be Wednesday at the same time as the stream today. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be writing a few more small little programs using Python. And in this case, if you have access to a Linux machine, one that is internet capable. So unfortunately, we can't really rely on this JS Linux virtual machine. If you have access to something like Kali Linux, that would be great. If you have access to Kali Linux or your own version of Python on your own computer, on Wednesday we're going to be doing a little bit of practice, writing a few more programs using Python. But aside from that, we're going to be needing to move over to our next topic for today, which is OSINT. So if you have a little bit of time, please stick around, because what we're going to be learning about is about the Kaspersky antivirus company, which has been in the news a lot because the US just banned the Kaspersky the Kaspersky antivirus program from being used by anybody inside of the country. So this is kind of unusual. So we're going to be doing a little bit of OSINT, open source intelligence, to learn more about this company. To everybody who came here to learn about Python, I've got a couple of survey links. So there's one for Black Girls Hack, which can be located here. If you're from Black Girls Hack, please fill in this survey and let them know what I did right and what I did wrong. And if you're from Women's Society for Cyberjitsu, please use this link and let them know what you thought about this workshop. Okay, so what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be switching over to our second topic, which is Cyber OSINT Party. And so I'm going to start up some music because this is a little bit more casual. We're going to play some music. Okay, please let me know if the music is too loud, and I'll turn down the music. Hopefully you can still hear me over the music. And we're going to be changing up our titles. So let me take a look. So we're not doing modules and packages, we're doing Kaspersky and McAfee. Benita Bahoya, thank you very much. Thank you, and thank you to everybody who came by for Python. We're going to be switching up gears now, and we're going to be doing some OSINT. Okay, so everybody, this is the Cyber OSINT Party, and what we need to do is, we're going to be asking some questions to all sorts of different public resources to learn about some famous cybersecurity companies. So I've got my... Let me close out some windows, because we're going to be using quite a few tabs in today's exercise. So inside of the HackerFrogs GitHub repository, we've got our Cyber OSINT Party directory right here. And I'll link everybody to this directory. You can navigate to companies. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be filling in our markdown file over here for Kaspersky. And we're going to be answering a bunch of different questions. So what are the services and products that this company offers? Where are their offices? Who is their founder? What's the current leadership? All sorts of stuff like this. So the reason we're interested in Kaspersky today is because of this news item right here. So if we were to search up Kaspersky ban US, so let's just say America. Okay, so let's just say over here, so this right here is the news story. The Biden administration will ban cybersecurity company Kaspersky Labs from selling products in the United States over concerns that the firm is closely tied to Russia and poses a security risk. It is also sanctioning 12 senior leaders at the company. So this is the story. The story is that this antivirus company, Kaspersky, has been banned by the US because they're worried that Kaspersky, the software, could be used as a method of compromising the user's computers on behalf of the Russian government. So if anybody has any opinions about this ban, please let us know in the comments. Otherwise, we're going to be doing a little bit of research about Kaspersky and learning what this company actually is. So we're going to be doing OSINT, which is open source intelligence, and we're going to be using a number of different methods in order to learn about the company. So the first thing we can do is we can just use Wikipedia. So Wikipedia is a great open source intelligence tool. We can ask about Kaspersky. Kaspersky Lab, multinational cybersecurity and antivirus provider, headquartered in Moscow, Russia. So the way the government is set up in Russia means that any company could be approached by the Russian government and forced to comply with its wishes. And this is what everybody is concerned about. They think that anybody who is running the Kaspersky antivirus software could be spied upon by the software if they have it installed on their system. So what is this company right here? Let's answer the first question. And the first question, we're going to edit this file. So what are their services and products? So let's take a look at the Wikipedia file and see what they offer. So it sells antivirus, internet security, password management, endpoint security, and other cybersecurity products and services. So we could just copy this and we can put it in our file, and then we can say that Wikipedia gave us this information. So over here, we paste this in, and then we make a footnote here that we got this information from Wikipedia. So where are their offices? I think it's pretty safe to say that their offices are in Moscow, Russia. But let me, I'm going to run a quick Google Maps search. So I'm going to go into an incognito window and then go to maps.google.com. And then I'm going to search for Kaspersky. So unfortunately, I'm not sure if Google Maps runs in Russia. So maybe Google Maps wasn't the best. Kaspersky Labs. Maybe it's not the Kaspersky Labs. This one is in Germany. Okay, so I don't think this is the headquarters for Kaspersky Labs. Yeah, but it's probably safe to assume that the headquarters are somewhere in Moscow, Russia. All right, so we're gonna ask, what is their official name? So although the companies say that they're Kaspersky Labs, there are legal names that they run under. So if we were to ask Wikipedia, so it says Kaspersky Virus Lab. Well, it's this Russian over here. I don't know if I should be well, let's just go with the English one. So let's just call it Kaspersky Lab, and list that as the answer. Their official name is Kaspersky Lab, but we could ask other sources as well. For example, we could ask Perplexity. So this is at perplexity.ai, and we could ask what is the official company name of Kaspersky Labs. And it just says Kaspersky Lab. The official name is this, but it has this Russian name over here as well. Okay, so we can safely say that Kaspersky Lab is the official name for this company. So the next question we might want to ask is, so we got this from Perplexity, and we also got this from Wikipedia. So who is their founder? So on the Wikipedia page, it says that it was founded in 1997 by Eugene Kaspersky. So Eugene Kaspersky is actually a very well-respected member of the cybersecurity community. So Eugene Kaspersky, we got this from Wikipedia, but I think this is pretty well known, and we don't really need to dispute this, but we could ask somebody else. So we could ask ChatGPT, who is the founder? So it says the answer is Eugene Kaspersky, and it also says that he founded the company in 1997 alongside his wife. Okay, so his wife is also a founder. Well, I mean, I need to verify this. If his wife is also a founder. So Eugene Kaspersky, we got that from Wikipedia. We also got it from ChatGPT. And his wife, we got that from ChatGPT. And let's see if Perplexity will give us a different answer. So it says it was founded in 1997 by Eugene Kaspersky, Natalia Kaspersky, and Alexei Demondarik. So it says here that there are three founders. Okay, so it's important to keep all your facts straight. So we got the third name from Perplexity AI, and we got the second name from ChatGPT and Perplexity AI. And Wikipedia says that these three people. It also says that this other person over here is a founder. Okay, well, I'll copy this as well. And I'll include this name in here as well. So this is from Wikipedia. The second name was also confirmed by Wikipedia. And the third name was confirmed by Wikipedia as well. Okay, so their founders are, well, I think the main person that's associated with Kaspersky Labs is Eugene Kaspersky. And then we can ask this next question was, what's their current leadership? So who is in charge right now at the company? So let's ask ChatGPT. Who is the current CEO of Kaspersky Lab? Okay, so it says here that Eugene Kaspersky is still the CEO, and let's corroborate this with some other sources over here. So, key people, Eugene Kaspersky, CEO. So this is corroborated by Wikipedia. And we'll ask Perplexity, who is the current CEO of Okay, and it says that this person is still, Eugene Kaspersky is still the CEO. Let's write that down. So, Eugene Kaspersky, and this was from Wikipedia and also ChatGPT and also Perplexity AI. Okay, oh, so I forgot to, so where are their offices? Moscow, Russia. We got this from Wikipedia. And it asks what year were they established. I think I saw 1997 in the Wikipedia article, and also, so Perplexity says 1997, Wikipedia says 1997, and ChatGPT also says 1997. So we can be pretty confident that 1997 is when they were established. Okay, have they done business under any other names? So previously we came across companies that changed names and were merged with other companies over the years in our previous investigations. Let's ask ChatGPT if Kaspersky has done business under any other name. I don't think it has, but... Oh, okay. Kaspersky Lab has rebranded itself as Kaspersky without the name Lab. This change was announced in June 2021, when they simplified their brand name to Kaspersky to better reflect their evolution beyond just a laboratory-focused entity. Okay, so ChatGPT says that that they're just Kaspersky now. So let's ask Perplexity. Okay, so the company was originally founded as Kaspersky Lab. In 2019, the company underwent a significant rebranding, dropping Lab from its name to simply Kaspersky. Part of a... Okay, so it says in 2019 it changed. But in the other response over here, it says that it was announced in 2021. Let's rebranded as Kaspersky without the lab in 2019, according to Perplexity AI, and for 2021, according to ChatGPT. Okay, so who are some other notable members of their organization? Let's ask this question over. So over at Wikipedia, we can see that we have a number of different founders over here. But we could also ask Perplexity Okay, so there's this person. You know what? We've been neglecting a very important resource this whole time. And what that is the company's official website. So over at Wikipedia, we can probably get the website for Kaspersky, and we can use that as a source as well. So this brings me to Kaspersky.ca because I live in Canada. So there's an About Us section over here. And under About Us, we've got Careers, Get to Know Us. So we could learn all about the staff over at Kaspersky by clicking on this section right here, Get to Know Us. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily tell us about any of the staff over there. So this is the CEO, Eugene Kaspersky. And it looks like that is the only staff member that they talk about on the website. So there's also a history. Okay, so let's see. 1997, Kaspersky Labs is founded. So we already confirmed this with a bunch of different sources. All right. Is this? I can't scroll. Can I scroll in this? Okay, I can scroll. Great. So they've done all sorts of stuff over at Kaspersky Lab. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Does anybody in the chat run antivirus on their computer? If you run antivirus on your computer, please let us know, because there are some people who think that antivirus is not necessary in the modern age, and they just rely on Windows Defender to catch all the viruses that might be coming into their system. If you use antivirus, let us know. Okay, so what we were doing? Okay, so other notable members of the organization, we asked Perplexity, and it says that Igor Gennadiyevich, I can't pronounce these names. Okay, we've got Chief Legal Officer, Vice President and Director of Future Technologies, Executive Vice President, okay, so maybe we can try asking, do we know who the Chief Technology Officer at Kaspersky? Do we know who this person is? Okay, so the CTO, Chief Technology Officer, is Andrei Efremov. Interesting. So we can say that let's copy this and include it in our document. So of course we don't rely on just one source. We can ask who the CTO is from other sources. For example, we could ask ChatGPT. Okay, and we get a different response from ChatGPT, who says that the CTO is Nikolay Gravinikov. So this is interesting because we get different names depending on which source we're looking at. So this is ChatGPT. Is there any way of let's try Googling this. So Kaspersky Labs CTO. So this is the latest news story is this right here from 2018, but 2018 was a long time ago. So I'm not too sure if we can who we can trust as far as these roles are concerned. But let's table this and let's move on to the next section. Okay. So how many employees work there? So this is an important question to answer as far as getting idea of the scope of the company. How many people work there? So under Wikipedia, they include this statistic right here, which is 4,000 plus in 2020. So we can plug this in. So 4,000 plus. Let me correct this. And this figure is from 2020, and it is according to Wikipedia. But we could, we'll probably get some different answers depending on which source we're looking at. So let's take a look at Perplexity. So we could also try looking on the official website. I'm not sure if this is something we can just search. So it doesn't look like this is something that is easily searchable, but of course we can ask. So it says reported to be around 4,000 to 4,100 employees. Okay, so this has a little bit of a breakdown as well, but it doesn't include, so it does talk about Wikipedia. Okay, so we're going to use this figure right here. And we're going to say that Perplexity AI has provided this answer. So the next question over here is a big one right here. It says, what big news stories have they been involved in? So this is one of the reasons we're talking about Kaspersky in the first place is because their antivirus software has just been banned in America. So this is probably the biggest story that's going to appear here. But let's take a look at some other ones from wherever we can find them in when we ask. Okay, so what big news stories has Kaspersky Lab been involved in? Okay, so an interesting thing is that Perplexity has current news. So ChatGPT notoriously says that it only has access to internet information from a certain point onwards, or a certain point and before, rather. But Perplexity seemingly has news that is relatively current. So this is June 2024. We're in July, so it's only a few weeks old. So U.S. government ban. So let's report this. So U.S. government ban on Kaspersky antivirus. So we got that from Perplexity, but this is something we can easily look up. Okay, so that's one bullet point. Let's do another bullet point from Perplexity. Leadership changes, rebranding efforts, ongoing security research. So there are no other really big stories. Discovery of sophisticated, okay, I'm eating my words. Discovery of sophisticated cyber espionage platforms has led the discovery of advanced espionage platforms conducted by nation states, including the Equation Group and the Stuxnet worm. So one reason people theorize is a reason why Kaspersky antivirus is being targeted for ban by the American government is because Kaspersky have blown the whistle on American government hacking efforts. So such as this reference to the equation group, which is generally known to, which is generally said to be associated with the NSA, with the American NSA, and the Stuxnet worm, which is another really big, supposedly American and Israeli effort to stop Iran from refining radioactive chemicals. It's something about Iran's nuclear program, which was disrupted by a joint effort from the American and Israeli governments. So generally, that's what the Stuxnet worm is associated with. Okay. So we can say that let's just copy this and put it in our notes. So I guess we could just call this Stuxnet. Actually, well, I'm gonna leave that open. I'm just gonna say that we got it from Perplexity, and then we're gonna ask ChatGPT. Okay, so we have some different answers from ChatGPT. So here we see allegations of ties to Russian intelligence. Okay, and I think this relates to the US ban. So it's strange because generally ChatGPT doesn't have access to really current news, but maybe ChatGPT has changed its policy, or maybe changed the information that ChatGPT has access to. So it says global reach in cyber espionage. So it says it has been involved in uncovering cyber espionage campaigns and malware operations worldwide. Okay. EU antitrust complaint against Microsoft. It filed an antitrust complaint against Microsoft. So I guess you could say that that Kaspersky has been opposing some companies and some groups associated with the American government. So maybe this is why Kaspersky is being targeted. Okay. All right, so let's just do a quick Google search on Kaspersky. So if I just type in Kaspersky Labs news, then the US ban is going to be the big thing that people talk about. But I guess All right. Okay, so I guess these are the two big stories that Kaspersky has been involved in, and then we'll answer the following question. What are some media appearances that they've been involved in? So Eugene Kaspersky is a well-known figure in the cybersecurity scene, but I don't know if they've done a lot of interviews or talk shows or like other media appearances. So let's look it up on YouTube, because generally YouTube has all this stuff. Oh, everybody! I recently added a couple of new fun video clips to the channel, like this one right here. So this one is from the classic movie Hackers.
Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Shut up again!
So if anybody recognizes that, please type some smileys in the chat. All right, so what were we doing? Okay, so we're talking about Kaspersky. Kaspersky, I guess we can... The problem with just typing in Kaspersky is that Kaspersky has been all over the news, so anything that we type in YouTube talking about Kaspersky is just going to be talking about the Kaspersky ban, and it's not going to be... So I guess we could try a Kaspersky interview. Okay, so here is Eugene. So it looks like Eugene Kaspersky has done a couple of different interviews. So let's grab the links for these. So if anybody wants to, Lena, hey, that's a smiley. Welcome to the stream, Lena. Have you been here before? I think I might have seen your name before. So if anybody wants to take a look at this YouTube video, I provided the link in the chat. So what is this? Let me paste in this. And what is the name of this? Okay, and let's grab one more interview from Kaspersky. Maybe this one right here. All right. Then it says, yes, you have been here before. May I ask which previous stream you've been here for? Have you been here for other Python streams? And if you want to take a look at this particular YouTube video, it is at this link that I provided in chat. Okay. So what is their official website and their social media accounts? So the great thing about having access to their official website over here, so that would be Kaspersky.com, is that usually all of their social media accounts are linked from all their social media links are on their site. So we've got a Facebook, so let me copy that. And next we have an X Twitter. Which is over here, and we have a Instagram. Oh, that's LinkedIn. BGH last month. Oh, okay. From Black Girls Hack. Do you remember what the topic of the workshop was, by any chance? No. All right. Fair enough. But I'm glad to see her again. All right. So LinkedIn, they've got an official YouTube. And I think one. Oh, they've got a lot. community, and I don't recognize that one, but we've got Instagram. So I'm always curious about what these big corporations put on their Instagram pages, because they're probably not posting selfies and pictures of whatever they ate. So they're basically advertisements. Okay. Here's the Kaspersky Instagram, just in case you were curious. All right, so if anybody has any additional questions about Kaspersky, we could try to look them up right now. Oh, username changed from ReachL. Okay. Oh, I recognize that name. I recognize the name ReachL. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, welcome back to the stream. Welcome back. Okay. All right. So if anybody has any opinions in general about Kaspersky being banned by the U.S. government, I'm happy to talk about it, as long as the talk doesn't get too political. I kind of hate talking about politics. Okay, so we're going to commit these changes. And if anybody wants to take a look at the information that we got in this OSINT party right here, there's the link. So we're going to be moving on to our second target of the day, and our second target is going to be slightly less well, it's going to be it's going to be an interesting target, because we're going to be talking about McAfee, who also has an antivirus. So companies, we're going to look at McAfee now. All right, so let's edit this. So has anybody here ever used McAfee antivirus before? Okay, so we're searching for McAfee. So formerly known as McAfee Associates Inc., okay, and then Network Associates from 1997 to 2004, and then Intel Security Group from 2014. Oh geez, that's a lot of name changes. All right, so let's begin. Okay, so what are their services and products? Well, McAfee is very well known for their antivirus. I don't know if they American Global Computer Security Software Company. So it's a computer security software. So this is their service. And we got that from Wikipedia. But let's ask ChatGPT if McAfee offers anything else. So what services does McAfee, the cybersecurity company, offer? Okay, so endpoint security, cloud security, network security. So a lot of different stuff. So it offers a range of cybersecurity products and services. So this is the answer from ChatGPT. And will we get a different answer from Perplexity? Let's ask just to cover our bases. Okay, so it also says it offers a wide range of cybersecurity services and solutions. So these are all pretty standard for really big cybersecurity companies. But we're going to say that both ChatGPT and Perplexity give this answer right here. So where are their offices? So if we go back to our Google to our Google Maps, McAfee antivirus. What is the name of the company again? What is the official name? McAfee Corp. Okay, so Google Maps isn't really helping us too much, but let's take a look at some other sources. So it says, on Wikipedia it says headquarters in Santa Clara, California. So Santa Clara, California, let's write that down. And that's from Wikipedia. And let's see if we get a different answer from somewhere else. So we'll ask ChatGPT, where is the company headquartered? McAfee Enterprises, formerly known as simply McAfee, is headquartered in San Jose, California. So that doesn't. That's kind of contradictory. Okay, let's write that down. San Jose. That's according to ChatGPT. And let's see if Perplexity gives us a different answer. Where are the head offices? Okay, this also says San Jose, California. So this is according to ChatGPT and Perplexity. There's one other resource we can use to get business information like this. Hold on, let me grab my notes. So we could also use. So our good friend Volko on Twitch gave us this website right over here, which is a business registry information tool. So business lookup. So if anybody's wondering about this tool, I'll provide the link in chat. And so first of all, we need to get a business name. So the official business name for the business first. So it says McAfee Corp. Let's try this name. So business lookup. This is McAfee Corp, and let's search. So we need to prove that we're not a robot. Search that. Does not exist, or account has been closed for more than 5 years. So McAfee Corp doesn't show up. Let's ask ChatGPT what the so ChatGPT says the name of the company is McAfee Enterprise. So let's try McAfee Enterprise. Okay, so McAfee Enterprise appears, and it appears in Spokane, Washington. Oh, okay. This is a bit messy. So let's look up McAfee. So the original name for this company was McAfee Associates. Let's try looking this one up. Okay, so let's search this. So they haven't been doing business under this name for a long time. So while we're here, let's just ask about the history of the name changes for this company. What is the history of name changes the McAfee company has had over the years? Okay, so McAfee Associates, Network Associates, McAfee. This is all over the place. Okay, so first they're McAfee Associates Inc. And we're going to McAfee Associates Inc. And then they were Network Associates Inc. And then they were McAfee, just plain old McAfee. And then they were Intel Security Group. And then they changed their name back to McAfee. But apparently there are two different companies. This is all very confusing. Okay, so what year were they established? So all this information here is according to Perplexity. I think we get the same answers from ChatGPT. Okay, it looks like these dates are very similar. Let me Okay. So I think we can say that this information over here has been corroborated by both ChatGPT and by Perplexity AI. Okay. So next, let's talk about their official name. So their official name right now is McAfee. So it should be just McAfee or McAfee Corp. So Wikipedia says it's McAfee Corp. And ChatGPT says that it's McAfee, and Perplexity says it's McAfee Corp. And it also says it's McAfee. Well, this is confusing. All right, so next, let's talk about their founder. Their founder is famous. Okay, so their founder is John McAfee. So John McAfee, for anybody who doesn't know, is a very colorful character. He's associated with being a shady crypto bro and for hiding out away from the law and living a weird drug-filled lifestyle down in South America, and apparently he either committed suicide or he was murdered in prison while he was waiting for extradition to the United States. But if you want to know a little bit more about that, let's look that up really quickly on Wikipedia. John McAfee. So he was John McAfee passed away just a few years ago. So this was back in 2021. So we're just going to look at his at how he passed away. So he was found dead in a prison cell hours after the Spanish National Court ordered his extradition to the United States. Okay, so he was awaiting extradition to the United States, and I'm not sure which country he was in. I think he was in... Was he in Spain? If that makes sense, if the Spanish National Court ordered his extradition. So he was in Spain, and he was awaiting extradition back to the United States when he was found dead, and they called it suicide, but people suspect that he was murdered in prison. But anyways, let's get back to McAfee, the company, which this colorful character founded. Okay, so John McAfee, I think this is... Everybody's going to say that John McAfee is their founder, so this is pretty reliable information. What's their current leadership? So McAfee, the company, is probably... Let's find out who this current CEO is. So it says... So Wikipedia says that Greg Johnson over here is the president and CEO. So let's fill that in. That's according to Wikipedia. Let's see if the other sources say anything different. Okay, so ChatGPT says that Peter Leave is the CEO. All right, let's note this down. Peter Leave, CEO, and so this is 2020, and this is according to ChatGPT. And we can cooperate. It still thinks we're talking about Kaspersky Labs. Who is the current CEO of McAfee Corp? Okay, here it says Greg Johnson, effective June 2022. Okay, so Greg Johnson, according to Perplexity. So this CEO right here is probably old news. So that was probably the former CEO before this person right here, Greg Johnson. Okay, what year were they established? Well, we can infer from right here that it was 1987. And we can say we got that from ChatGPT and Perplexity. Okay, So who are some other notable members of their organization? Are there any other well-known members of the McAfee company? There's no specific information about other well-known members of the McAfee company beside Greg Johnson. The results focus on McAfee's history and services, but do not mention any other notable executives. Okay, so Perplexity says there are no other notable people. Let's ask ChatGPT. So these are all... Chief Scientist. He's a frequent speaker at cybersecurity conferences, an author and respected figure in the cybersecurity community. We need to do some research. Raj Samani. Let's look him up on YouTube. Okay, so it says here that here it is implying that Raj Samani. Oh, I don't like this song. Let me change. Okay, that's better. So here it says that Raj Samani is part of Rapid7. It doesn't say anything about McAfee, but. So here it says that Raj Samani is from Rapid7. So here it says Raj Samani is associated with McAfee, but this is from 2019. Okay, so we can say that Raj Samani is associated with McAfee. Okay, let's note that down. And it said that he was the chief scientist. And that was according to ChatGPT. Perplexity said that there was nobody associated with McAfee, which is kind of strange. Maybe it was just talking about currently. Okay, so how many employees? So how big is this company, McAfee? So according to Wikipedia, it's 1,800 plus from 2023. And what is this document? McAfee fact sheet. Okay, let's open this. So this looks like an official document from McAfee. Okay, this seems well, it seems legitimate. Let's note this down. And that was from Wikipedia. Let's see if the other sources tell anything different. How many employees? What? McAfee employs approximately 7,000 employees worldwide. Okay. I'll note this down. So this is probably an incorrect figure, but let's write it down nonetheless. And we'll ask Perplexity, how many employees? Okay, it says that there's no information. So in this case, because there was an official document over here from McAfee, we can probably say that that Wikipedia was using this this PDF, and I'm not sure where they got this PDF, but they got it anyway. They got it regardless. We can probably say that this is the accurate figure right here. So I'll just outline this. Okay, what big news stories have they been involved in? Okay, so McAfee. What big news stories has the McAfee company been involved in? Okay, so I guess we could say that this over here. So John McAfee's involvement with this with the murder of his neighbor over here in Belize. John McAfee fled the country and went on the run. So the problem with this story right here is that it doesn't involve the company, but it involves its founder. And by that point, I'm pretty sure that that John McAfee was no longer associated with the McAfee company. But because this is really it's a very dramatic story, we'll include this. Okay, so here, this is according to Perplexity, and let's ask ChatGPT. Before we move on, let's see if there's anything. So McAfee cryptocurrency predictions and stunts. McAfee's presidential run and Libertarian Party nomination. I don't want to include too many stories that involve John McAfee the person as opposed to his company. Let's ask ChatGPT. Okay, so let's see. It's not letting me scroll up. Why isn't it letting me scroll up? Okay, so it seems that so ChatGPT also corroborates that there were a lot of controversies associated with John McAfee. So I guess we can say that ChatGPT also talks about this. So I guess McAfee, the company, makes antivirus software, and I guess there aren't any really big big news stories that come out of that, aside from the antics of their founder, who was not associated with the McAfee company for very, very long. So if we were to ask ChatGPT, when did John McAfee leave his company, it's going to tell you that he left the company pretty early on. So he left in 1994. So he established it in 1987, and he left it in 1994. So he was only there for about 7 years. Wait, that can't be true. That can't be right. 87, 94. Oh, that's 7 years. That's 7 years. Okay. So he resigned from his position as CEO. So he founded this company, but he left it a few years into establishing it, and then he went completely crazy. But we can't say that McAfee the company has been involved in anything big and controversial. All right, so let's move on. So what are some examples of media appearances they've been involved in? Okay, So the problem is that as far as searching for McAfee is concerned, it's going to be very difficult to separate John McAfee, the founder, from his company. But let's search for McAfee antivirus. And I guess interview. Okay, so these are all interviews with McAfee, but I'm pretty sure by this point McAfee wasn't working for McAfee antivirus anymore. So I'm just gonna not include any of this. If you want to search for John McAfee the person and all the wacky interviews that he's supplied over the years, you're free to do so over on YouTube or anywhere else. Okay, so let's just say not available. Okay, so to finish this out, hey, the Black Hacker, nice to see you. Nice to see you. We're just wrapping up our OSINT journey with McAfee antivirus. John McAfee sure is an interesting fellow, isn't he? So the problem with doing OSINT on McAfee, the company, is that it's very difficult to get information. Sometimes it's very difficult to get information about the company that's not tied up with the founder, and the founder's done some crazy stuff over the years. Okay, so last thing we're going to do is we're going to grab some social media accounts for McAfee, the company. Let's go. So McAfee.com. And let's go over to the social media accounts. Black Hacker says, I caught the end of this, just got out of class. Oh, well, what class were you participating in? Was work teaching? Was work paying for it? I'll rewatch on YouTube. Yeah, that's yeah. To anybody who's watching, if you've missed any of our live streams before, you can watch any of them on our YouTube channel. Let me grab you the link. So this is the link right here. Okay, so previous to this, we were looking at Kaspersky, and Kaspersky seems like a much more interesting company. McAfee is a bit messy as far as like OSINT is concerned, because take a look at the number of times they've changed the name of the company. It's like 6 times. They've changed their name 6 times over the last 30 years or so, and that's some feat. All right, so McAfee antivirus. This is their X link over here. Here's their Facebook. Does anybody here use Facebook on a regular basis? Type smiley in chat if you use Facebook on a regular basis. Here's their YouTube. Often enough, you know, I'm willing to bet that that the amount of time every time you use Facebook is to communicate with people who are older and don't have and aren't like super tech savvy, and the only like big social media website that they use is Facebook. But that's just my guess. Okay, so there's their LinkedIn. Okay, so we've done our cyber OSINT party on both of our targets tonight. So we took a look at McAfee, and we also took a look at Kaspersky. I'm going to save this out, commit these changes. Black Hacker says non-tech savvy and people I don't care to see on IG. Well, that kind of lines up with what I thought. All right, so if anybody wants to take a look at the document we created during this OSINT party, there it is in chat if you want to take a look. And if you want to take a look at what we learned about Kaspersky, this is the link for this Kaspersky document. All right, so everybody, before we finish out today's stream, I'd like to point out what exactly the schedule is going to be for this week. So if anybody wants to know what we're doing from week to week over at the HackerFrogs stream, we have a Reddit, which is located over here. And every week I make up a little streaming schedule for the week, which can be located. Well, the one for this week is over here. So today it is Monday, July 1st. It is Canada Day for anybody in Canada. Happy Canada Day. All right, so our next stream is going to be on July 3rd. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing HackerFrogs extra credit for Python programming. We're going to write simple programs with the requests and socket modules. So if anybody wants to get some extra Python programming in, we're going to be writing a few simple programs, and that's going to be at the same time as today's stream. And as a secondary topic, we're going to be doing hacking history. We're going to be doing some research on the Colonial Pipeline hack and the Sammy worm, which happened on MySpace. So these are two big hacks that happened in history. One that happened a long time ago, which is this one. And one that happened not too long ago. This one happened in 2021. And we're going to be doing some research on what happened in these hacks, who was affected, who we think did it, and some other stuff. But that's going to be Wednesday's stream. It's going to start at 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. EST. I hope to see you there. And on Friday, we're going to be doing Hack the Box. So we're going to be doing the vaccine box. That is a tier 2 starting point machine, and we're going to be walking through that box. If you're interested in getting into Hack the Box, I highly suggest that you watch over there. And after that, we're going to be working on our secondary topic, which is Hack the Culture. So this is a new segment that I'm doing, and we're going to be talking about cybersecurity content creators. So if you're interested in seeing who the big people are making content all up on YouTube and TikTok and whatever other social media accounts are on there, we're going to be taking a look at that. So everybody, that's going to be a fun time. Then that's going to be on Friday. That's going to be late night for EST. We're going to be starting at 11 p.m. EST. But if you can't make it, I totally understand. If you can, if you want, you can catch the stream on VOD on YouTube after the fact over on my YouTube channel. But everybody, thank you very much to everybody who showed up today. Thank you to the Black Hacker for being a stream inspiration. I got a lot of good ideas from our chat about Twitch channels, and everybody else who's been chatting in today's chat, such as Lena and Benita Bahoya and Enoch Park. Thank you very much, everybody. We will see you next time. But before that, we're going to see if we can raid somebody who is also in the InfoSec sphere. There's a list of InfoSec streamers at this link right here, and looks like KiraSec is online. Please, if you're on